All right. So this evening we've got my buddy on the line, Malichi. It's pronounced Male, correct?
That's perfect, Malichi Male, yeah.
So now we're just gonna roll into look Hughs talking. We got a few questions for him. He spent some time hanging out with us tonight, so we're just gonna roll into it. So we're gonna start off here. You were born in Uganda. When exactly did you come to Toronto?
Well, it was a while ago. I came to Toronto in '82, actually. So I've been here for a while, man.
Okay, so you've been doing your thing for a minute.
Yeah.
What brought you? What was actually the situation that caused you to come here?
Well, what it was is my dad was actually part of the military up there in Uganda when Idi Amin was the president. So dude was flipping out and all. So he pretty much set out a genocide against all Indian people and all. So my dad didn't want no part of that anymore. So pretty much dude went AWOL, right? So, but you can't really do that in a Ugandan army. So our life was on the line. So we just had to take off, So we pretty much just walked from Idi Amin pretty much put a hit out on our whole family, So we had to just walk in the nighttime from Uganda to Kenya. And once we got there,
wow.
yeah, it took, I don't know how long it took, man. I was a kid at that time, but pretty much we had to go from house to house in the nighttime so ain't nobody could see us. So when we finally got to Kenya, we're in a refugee camp up there. And we definitely were not safe too because, it's pretty close to Uganda and Idi Amin was pretty powerful at that time. So my mom and dad applied for like an endangered immigrant to come to Canada, and at that particular time they were only giving out about 500 visas for the most severe cases, and there was about at least maybe I believe it was about almost 10,000 applications at that particular time, and by God's grace we got one of those 500 spots, and we ended up here.
It's interesting that you would say by God's grace, because how much of an impact do you think that has on being a positive gospel artist now?
Well, it's it's one of those scenarios where it's like I've seen so many things, right? So and I don't know if it was I came here and I started going to church and I started hearing the word that everything that the Bible was talking to me about was the stuff that I didn't the positivity and everything that the Bible was giving to me is stuff that I desperately wanted because I was coming from environments that I ain't never seen none of that before. So yeah, to make a long story short, yeah, definitely, subconsciously it played a humongous part. I don't know if I didn't face scenarios like that, situations like that, I don't know if I would have came to God. So it's yeah, definitely. Subconsciously, when I think about it right now, yeah, it definitely played a huge part.
I was going to ask, felt you had some sort of calling before that, but this kind of helped steer you in the right direction, I guess, if you want to say?
Yes, absolutely. Because everybody has a calling. Everybody's designed for a purpose in life. You got something like your toe, your big toe. You chop that off, you got no balance. You got something like your thumb. Without your thumb, you cannot grasp and hold on to anything. So little things like that. Even the strand of your hair has a purpose in life. So for me to say my toe and one strand of my hair has a purpose, but I don't. It's kind of ridiculous. So everything I look at, every circumstance I encounter, it seems like, it's not just here for just the sake of being here, because so many things had to happen before this particular incident or before this circumstance is happening at this particular moment. So many things had to take place before this is happening. So yeah, definitely. So as for purpose, yeah, absolutely. So when I read the Bible, it's one of those scenarios where it's like, if you just take away the religion element of it, take away the pastor, take away everybody in their Sunday best, if you actually just listen to the words, it really speaks to you, and whatever question or concerns or fears or anything you have, there's a scripture in there that actually tells you the answer and what to do. And when you apply those things that the Bible is telling you to do, it always works out. It always works out. So it's kind of hard to deny it when every single time, you know, you're down on your luck, or you don't have an answer, or sometimes it's not even an answer. Sometimes the Bible just tells you wait, you know, and you wait, and things come around, you know. So yeah, absolutely. It's very crucial to my life, and the way I look at the Bible is not like how a lot of people look at it. I look at it as just words that that are designed for the purpose of my life. Because the way it's written, it, it caters to pretty much anybody on the planet. You know what I mean? So I don't really look at it in the form of, okay, I'm gonna do this 10 times religiously, because I am human. Because and if I look at it and I say to myself, I'm gonna do all these 10 things and I'm a good person, I'm gonna go to heaven. That's like backwards. That then the legalism and the elements of I guess I call it a little fake godly person and all, you know what I mean? Because God is realistically inside of you, you know what I mean? It's your conscious talking and stuff like that. So when you hear that conscious talking, yeah. So when you hear that conscious talking and all that kind of stuff, that's God talking to you, you know what I mean? So
with that, with having such a hard past, it's like a lot of kids that grew up, in harder areas, or impoverished, or different things like that. But instead of dwelling on that, you're still looking at the greater sum of your life. So that might have been what led you to the next step, that led you to the next step, that got you here. So that may have been the situation that got you here, but there was a whole another set of steps that are also part of that path.
yeah, absolutely.
Now with that, because you said you had some sort of calling before that, how hard was it to convince your parents that you wanted to be a musician at the age of 10?
Well, extremely hard, because we're coming to this. We're coming from a third world country to a first class country, and you're talking about you want to do music. That's like the craziest thing on the planet, because musicians are a dime a dozen that actually they're not a dime a dozen. There's a billion musicians out there, and only a few of them actually make it. So to convince your parents of that, it's it's almost impossible, because we come from a strict background where it's like you come here for education, you get a straight job, and then you do your thing. But so now I'm going totally backwards, and it's like, okay, this ain't happening. Parents look at you like you're crazy. So it's only until things started popping off years later when they're like, oh, okay, now we believe you. But unless unless they see something, unless something's happening right there, no kid is gonna convince anybody.
Right now, when you were first started off, were you still doing positive rap at that point?
See, when I first started, I wasn't. It was positive hip hop, but I wasn't a Christian, So I wasn't going to church. I didn't know too much about the Bible, but just from what I was coming from, I didn't. I wanted to make a difference. So the transition between what I was doing before I became a Christian, and what I'm doing now, it's not too far off. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit more clearer now, because I have an understanding where I'm coming from and what my purpose is.
Now, you found Christianity in Canada, or did you find that before you left?
No, I didn't know what Christianity was before I left, man. No, everything I found was in Canada. In Uganda. Oh, you're worried about surviving, you know what I mean? So you're worried about right. You're worried about your next meal and stuff. So it's a lot harder to concentrate on anything but survival.
Now hold on one second. Here, I wanna give a shout out. One of the ways, and I'm going to tell everybody, that I found Malichi here. One of the resources that we both use is there's another podcaster bigger than myself, Dan Tong. You got to look him up. D Tong Sports, great dude. Is always promoting artists of all genres. Has a penchant for promoting positive artists. So one of the ways that I found I do some positive music. I'm not as religious as possibly I should be, but I always love interacting, and that's a great resource. So if you're listening, any fans, that's a great resource to be able to go and look at. So I did want to give Dan Tong of D Tong Sports a shout out for kind of making this happen.
That's a good man, right there, man.
Yeah, he's awesome. I went and checked out you guys' interview because I wanted to try to avoid covering some of the same bases and things. And I'm always listening to his show anyway. So yeah, he's, like I said, we've been kind of interacting for years, and I always appreciate the fact he's still doing his thing.
Oh, absolutely, man. Like, it's an amazing podcast, and just the fact that he is reaching out to positive artists and something that people don't do nowadays, So yeah, it's a beautiful podcast. Everybody should definitely check that out for sure.
Yeah, so I definitely want to give him a shout because even, like I said, I've been doing it for a while. It took some time off and technology changed. And one of the people that I reached out to was him, and he threw me some advice and some things. And I've always been able to have a conversation. So yeah, real cool guy. The next question now, this one is kind of funny to me because I was always a Big Daddy Kane fan. So Big Daddy Kane was the man.
Yeah.
So now I want to know, and I'm sure everybody wants to know, what video got you wanting to rap from Big Daddy Kane?
Oh, wow, man. You know what? Ain't no half step. The song, one of my songs, let's go with B-Boy Stance, I like that song a lot, so.
This is B-Boy Stance by Malichi Male, a song that I particularly like and actually will be in rotation on the podcast.
Seeing your whole team stripping for cream with shiny lights and laser beams like a bachelor's dream. Evil schemes are being plotted out. There is no doubt you got cloud in many places. Victim of the races. My thesis, instrumentals and lyricals make me universal, spiritual, individual. So look here, my lifestyle was on a mission. Hallucinations, they got my soul in submission. 180 degrees, I slept on my spine. Catching flashbacks, but refuse to rewind. It's so pathetic. My ingrains like a headache. Some magnums and PIs, no Tommy Selleck. Generation, secondary education, completion. The recipe's driving intuition. Immigration pointed out suicidal. Selling vinyl when feather caps playing candle.
When I was born, I wasn't that strong, but move on, watch me grow. Knowledge nourished the flow, And as we live, love it. Glad I had a chance. And when I die, bury me vertically in my B-boy stance. Born, my roots was torn, but move on, watch me grow. Knowledge nourished the flow, Soft amateur, rock your baby demo to sleep. Premature, stillborn, torn, sour tears you weep. Memories we keep too deep. Emotional storm, poetic form, out of the norm. Get your amps warm, I rock your cradle. My lullaby, call me when your crib. Spit up on your bib, I understand rap ad-lib. So I feed you with the wooden spoon. Your growth rate triple. First instinct, grab the nipple. Naturally simple, a motherless style. Fatherless child with the dimples. Medicate pimples, take care of ya. 98 degrees, fever is hot. Your head pulsate. Tender gender with the soft spot. Ballin', watch I conceal it. Life is hard to deal with. Where's your heartbeat? Make sure I feel it. I took you in like foster parents with lots of clearance. Lot God, resemble baby Jesus in a parent. Shh, hush, little hip hopper. I'm not your real papa. I only stopped to make sure you develop proper. Bronze your first kicks copper. Heavy crap make you drop step on rhythm stop. I love my toddler head when papa. I was born, I wasn't that strong, but move on, watch me grow. Knowledge nourished the flow, And as we live, love it. Glad I had a chance. And when I die, bury me vertically in a B-boy stance. When I was born, my roots was torn. But watch this, we still grow. Knowledge nourished the flow, And as we live, love it. Glad I had a chance. And when I die, bury me vertically in a B-boy stance. Fortune and fame be blurring up my windshield. My wipers on, see these players in the infield. For real, it's no word of a lie. Ask Malichi, pain cuts deep like samurai. Let's bring it to the climax. Sound Son and Eddie Max from Soundproof. All of these kids just want the truth. Still toothless, getting ruthless. Now in the booth is Malichi. So while we fly.
It's all about to go down, clenching the fist just to throw down your back down. The years of your life is what I count down. It's my town. Before I act up, you rose up early one day to get your smoke up. You glanced up, told me honestly that your time's up. You wrapped up, squeezed the big vein, ready to shoot up. You gave up before the race ends, before you finish. Diminish, I'm multiply, I'm stripping all of your pride.
When I was born, I wasn't that strong, but move on, watch me grow. Knowledge nourished the flow, And as we live, love it. Glad I had a chance. And when I die, bury me vertically in a B-boy. When I was born, my roots was torn. Watch this, we still grow. Knowledge nourished the flow, And as we live, you love it. Glad I had a chance. And when I die, bury me vertically in a B-boy stance. In the B-boy stance. In a B-boy stance. My B-boy stance. Yo, soundproof Malichi.